Good evening to one and all present here. It is with immense pleasure that I, Dhruvi Doshi, welcome you all to this reviving webinar organized by Entrepreneurship Cell with JTI to facilitate the learning of students from experience and insights of a very esteemed speaker from the business world, something which sadly our pure academia fails to provide us with. Entrepreneurship Cell is a non-profit student hub run by enthusiastic students of VJTI and started in year 2006 to foster the spirit of entrepreneurship and business acumen among the students. It accelerates the journey from an innovative idea to commercial success by means of myriads of competitions, hands-on workshops, and one-to-one mentoring. ESA JTI strives to be at the forefront by promoting entrepreneurship as a career and creating a holistic environment for learning and going beyond the conventional ways of doing things. It is my pleasure to introduce the guest for today, Mr. Prateek Gadia, who is the founder and CEO of a startup, the Yarn Bazaar. After working in the family business in manufacturing of wholesale of textile fabrics for almost 5 years, Mr. Gadia realized that textile industry was in dire need of change. He saw that procurement of yarn was a big challenge and how it also impacted the production plants. Thus was born the Yarn Bazaar, launched in July 2019. The business model functions through a website and Android iOS mobile applications. It is a holistic one-stop platform for discovering good quality yarn, getting the best price, and also the vendors. In just 20 months, the business reported a gross merchandise value of over 130 crores. Mr. Gadia has also a gleaming academia. He graduated third in class in Bachelor of Management Studies from MS Raheja College of Arts and Commerce. Furthermore, he has obtained an MSc degree from University of Warwick in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Isn't that amazing? Today, we are going to have an interesting discussion on the intricacies of founding a startup, what lessons budding entrepreneurs can learn from the startup journey, and importance of innovation. We all dream to birth a startup with that one idea that can change the world. And to achieve this, we must learn how to manage a startup. We will be having an interactive question answer session at the end of the talk. Don't forget to leave all your questions in the chat box down. Without any further ado, we will turn the time over to none other than Mr. Prateek Gadia.
Thank you so much, Dhruvi.
Hello, sir.
Just call me Prateek, please.
Okay.
I may be just a couple of months younger than you guys.
Yeah. So, sir, do you want to say a few words?
Firstly, I would like to thank you guys for actually, inviting me here. I hope I can add some value and inspire a few people here.
Surely you will. We are here for that only. We are so much overwhelmed by the intro that yes, we'll learn something. We want to learn so much from you, something.
See, success is always a team effort. It's not a solo game. So whatever we've achieved so far is basically because we've been able to build a good team.
So this is the first lesson which we are here learning. We can move on to the questions then.
Sure.
So my first question is, I would like to ask you to walk us through the ideation phase of the startup. How did you come up with the idea of starting Yarn Bazaar? And what gap do you think existed in the market which Yarn Bazaar intended to fill?
Okay. So first, let me walk you through the ideation of the concept of the Yarn Bazaar. So basically, I have a family business in textiles, right? So we manufacture shirting and suiting fabrics, manufacturing, wholesaling, and retailing of fabrics. Now, as a traditional Marwadi or Gujarati family business, we've always been a part of, the textile industry. Since childhood, vacation matlab ki kal badi office jana hai, office baithna hai. So we've seen it since the beginning. I've done my master's in innovation entrepreneurship from Warwick University in UK. Joined my family business once I came back. And the biggest challenge that I used to face on a daily routine was actual procurement of yarn. So let me give you a very simple analogy. If you look into any commodity industry, including textiles, you'll find that when it comes to manufacturing, there's been a lot of technological advancement. So आज अगर weaving की बात करें, so you have better machinery today. There were days when we had power looms, so daily production was hardly 50 meters a day. Plus quality was always an issue. Now you have edges running at 1300 plus RPMs also. But when you look at processes like, say, procurement, sales, marketing, it's still very dated. So, when you have to buy yarn, you have to call different set of suppliers that you have. Suppliers will give you credit, and you're always at their mercy what products they're offering at what rates they're offering. So that's how the idea or the concept of Yarn Bazaar was born. The idea was to create a holistic yarn marketplace which enables discovery and both buying and selling both. And now we've broadened the vision since we've started to market intelligence also. We're looking at CRMs, ERPs, a lot many things. So the idea is to create a one-stop yarn solution.
That was really nice. I think this is the most important thing, as in to get the idea to get one-stop solution. We face this every day. So, like, what is that Yarn Bazaar does, and what differentiates it from existing industrial practices?
So see, practice is I would say a factor of mindset. Now, if you see, especially the textile industry, or for that matter, most commodity industries, the mindset is fixed कि काम ऐसे ही होता है. Like for example, yarn की बात करें अगर तो the trade is always been on credit. So weavers are getting a credit of anywhere between say 5 days to 200 plus days. So for suppliers, it's always a challenge. So the challenge starts from a benchmarking your prices. Suppose you are a yarn manufacturer, you do not know what price you need to quote today. You may be underquoting yourself or you may be overquoting. In both cases, you're having an opportunity loss. For weavers or for buyers, you do not know what is the right price to buy, which quality is actually workable for you. We've seen a lot of weavers, including my family business, who've lost big import, export, or say domestic orders because we were not able to match the prices. एंड प्राइस मैच तब होगा जब आपका इनपुट कॉस्ट कंट्रोल रहेगा, आपका प्रोसेसिंग कॉस्ट कंट्रोल रहेगा. So the first thing we do at the Yarn Bazaar is whatever yarn buying and selling happens is only on 100% advance payment. There's no single day credit also here, which itself is a big challenge in the industry because people are used to credit. So जहाँ पे माल मिल रहा है तो एडवांस में क्यों लेंगे माल? So one major difference is we only process orders on 100% advance payments. And we started operations in July 2019, so just completed about 1.5 years. I think we've done a good work, like a decent work. So we've processed orders, inquiries of over 350 crores. We've done actual orders over 135 crores.
So the change must be difficult to accept, right? For everyone, for the people who are in the industry with the orthodox mindset that we do business like this, and you have changed the protocols of the business. So it must be difficult for everyone in the industry to accept that.
See, so what happens now when you provide a service or a product, there are certain benefits that the other person gets. That's why they're dealing with you. And these benefits can be tangible or intangible. Now, in our case, fortunately, our business model was calibrated in a way where for both buyers and suppliers, there were tangible benefits. For a supplier, as you can see, the tangible benefits are that they are getting quantity orders from us, regular orders, pan-India reach, and they're getting 100% advance payment, which was not seen in the industry as much. For buyers, they were getting best price, and that's what they care about. So best price मिल रहा है, आपको transparency मिल रहा है, flexibility मिल रहा है, and responsiveness है. So that's why it was not as big of a challenge. Obviously, it was a lot of it was very challenging before we started operations because to convince buyers or onboard buyers and suppliers is very difficult. But once the work started, once people started realizing the tangible aspects of the benefits that we were promising them, then increasing business was not as much of a challenge.
That is really nice to hear. So I wanted to ask, before you set out to create Yarn Bazaar, you worked in a family business in textile industry, as you said. How crucial was that experience for your startup, and what are the ways one can understand a particular industry if he doesn't have a prior experience like you had?
So let me answer this in two different ways. One is when you're starting something, whether it's a startup or any other setup, you have to understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. So where I came from was not sympathy, it was empathy कि खुद ने जो problems देखी उसको overcome करना है. So like we always say that you have to think of problems but you have to focus on solutions. So it was fairly easier for me to actually look at the solutions because that empathy was there. But on the other hand, I'll tell you one thing, and in fact to everybody who's present here, you look at any industry in the world, disruption has never come from within the industry. Airbnb was not a hotel company, Uber was not a taxi company, Facebook, LinkedIn, look at any startup for that matter, they've never been from within the industry. तो आप कोई भी इंडस्ट्री पकड़ लो, you will have big companies, Fortune 500 companies, but they've never been able to disrupt that quickly. Innovation definitely हमेशा से रहा है, but disruption हमेशा इंडस्ट्री के बाहर से आता है. So we've seen a lot of people who feel कि यार हम इस इंडस्ट्री से नहीं है, how do we start up, how do we scale up, or how do we get the first set of users, buyers and suppliers. But it's actually not that. When you look at an industry from different perspective, जो हमारी पहले बात हुई कि कि business practice जो है which is a outcome of mindset, वो mindset आपका नहीं रहेगा, then it will allow you to think differently or look at it from a different lens.
So basically it is combination of both the worlds. Like you don't need to be from that industry, the mindset which you have from the other world, that you club with the existing mindset and innovation arises.
So I would summarize it in this way that it's not required that you have to have domain expertise. What definitely would help you is having empathy. If you face this problem yourself, then the depth of your understanding or your problem solving attitude is very high.
Yeah. So this is really important, that we should have empathy and we learn that, like, yes, I want to solve this problem and I'll go for it. And that's how innovation is.
See, for example, if you look at Airbnb again, now it was not that, these guys were sitting and they thought we'll do something like this. They had a real problem. They were facing cash crunch and they had an extra bed in their room. So they thought, ki chalo baaju mein conference ho raha hai, why not rent this out? And that's how the idea was born.
Okay. Like there are many startups, like there are few are venture funded and some of them are bootstrapped. So what's your take on both of these?
Again, it depends what kind of business model you have. It's basically as simple as raising money or making money. Now, for us, we were very clear from day one that we are a very transaction-focused company or a revenue-focused company.
Mm-hmm.
So raising fund was not as imperative to us as, getting the business established. Because business established हो जाएगा, cash flow generate करते रहोगे, काम करते रहोगे, revenue generate करोगे, then you're not as dependent on raising money.
Yeah.
And one more thing I would say is that we need to realize that, people don't realize usually that raising money is not a celebration, it's an obligation. आपने किसी से पैसा लिया है तो you have to provide something in return to them.
So
but
always,
usually in our country we celebrate it as profitability कि यार पैसा raise हो गया है.
So that should be a mindset कि खुद हम venture funded नहीं होना चाहिए, bootstrap करो, and that's the best thing.
No, but it depends. Now, see, if you're building a P2C focused company, then you need a lot of funds to actually, as marketing budget. Then probably you need to raise funds. So, like I said, it depends on your setup. If the business model is such that requires a lot of burning till you reach a certain level, then you have to rely on external funding. If the business model is such which is revenue generating from day one, then probably you're not as dependent. Like when I speak about the Yarn Bazaar, at the early stage or seed stage, we didn't need any funding. But now when we are scaling up, we are looking at growth funding now.
Okay. So you are looking for fundings right now?
We've not started. We are in the process of actually evaluating it. Since we are in a high scalability model, we are looking at growth fund.
That's what I wanted to ask. As in, you work in a B2B model. So, do you want to go in a like what are you planning? How do you plan to expand it to B2C?
So what do you mean when you say B2C?
Like business to customer.
हाँ बट सी यान का कस्टमर तो एक बिजनेस एंटिटी ही है, राइट? यान कोई खरीद रहा है तो या तो रीसेल के लिए खरीदेगा या कंजम्पशन में के लिए खरीदेगा. कंजम्पशन इज बेसिकली फैब्रिक्स.
Yeah.
So in our case, B2C is also B2B only.
That is interesting. Okay. So then what marketing would you require in B2B models?
See, again, it totally depends on your current bandwidth, your funding, and a few other parameters also. Now, like what we did what we were successful in doing and why we've been able to scale very quickly is we understood that we don't want to focus on 100 customers. We were very sure that we want to focus on building 10 fans. If you have 10 fans, those 10 fans will get you another 100 set of customers. So my advice to anybody who's starting out or who has a startup or any business entity, just focus on creating fans. You know, Apple was not built because of loyal customers. Apple was built because they had fans. You know, they still do. They have crazy fan following. Whatever product they have, whatever pricing they have, they will always have buyers.
You have already answered my next question, which was the difficulties you faced in scaling the startup, like the solving chicken egg problem where you have low number of users. So you have already answered that by creating fans, you scale up your startup. Am I right?
It's easier, see, because ultimately there's something called LTV, lifetime value of a customer. Now, if you're focusing on fans, then your LTV is higher. If you're focusing on customers, ना कि नहीं मेरे को हर महीने इतने customers add करने हैं, whether the number is 5, 10, 500 or 5,000, then you'll always have higher dropouts. And it's always cheaper to retain a customer than acquire a new customer.
So as your startup or as your company started growing, what were the regulatory changes you faced, as in difficulties in changing the regulations? And
so honestly, in our case, there were not regulatory hurdles or challenges because it's not a new segment. We've not created a new product or a new market. It's just we've changed the delivery pattern. आज यान लोग जो फोन पे खरीदते थे, मीटिंग्स खरीदते थे, अभी ऑनलाइन ले सकते हैं. Regulatory hurdles usually कब आते हैं when you've created a new segment altogether.
Okay, then I see you using a lot of jargon related to industries and businesses. So like that must have come from your Warwick education. So what impact Warwick and your degree of MSc had in your startup?
Again, I would say just mindset. See, what you learn in good B schools is not how to do business. What you learn is how to have the right mindset to achieve your vision. So it's all a mindset game. I mean, in our B school, Warwick University, we had total practical studies. Like we didn't have any exams. So for every module, we were made. Sorry.
That's what I'm surprised. Like without exams.
We didn't have any exams. It was all practical studies. It was in module assignments. For every module, we had to write a dissertation. So it's difficult for us to actually imagine now, but for every assignment, every module, we had an assignment of 5,000 words dissertation. Then we had a final dissertation for 25,000 words.
Oh,
so you have to do a lot of research, practical understanding, and then translate that into a business model.
Okay, so how did it impact your the Yarn Bazaar and how it grew, the management of Yarn Bazaar?
So if I were to say one thing, and all our team members, we make sure that they know about this, is always think about 0 to 1. If you achieve 0 to 1, तो 1 to 100 and million achieve करना difficult नहीं है. Just get it started. And I think this is something that I picked up from in my B school only.
Okay, so the thing which helped you is starting is important. Beginning, like how well begin is half
just
the
get started. Don't worry about perfection, this that कि क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, ये होगा, नहीं होगा. Like in the last 1.5 year, there are a lot of things that initially in the boardroom we used to sit and discuss कि ये करना है नहीं करना है, उसके implications क्या रहेंगे. You'll crunch the numbers, you'll figure out कि इतना increase किया तो उससे आपको कितना impact आएगा. Then once we went to the market, we realized कि ऐसा कुछ था ही नहीं. मतलब you must have wasted say like n number of hours, days or weeks planning it. But the moment you hit the market, it's very easy and people accept it. So that's when we realized कि let's not do that anymore. कुछ दिमाग में आया करते हैं. Like we have an in-house marketing team and we just tell them कि ठीक है करना है करो, जो करना है करो, try करते हैं. चला तो चला, नहीं चला तो नहीं चला.
That is another lesson कि बस करो, चालू करो, जो होगा देखा जाएगा. It's like that.
हाँ.
But it's not always that we can rely on जो होगा देखा जाएगा ना.
No, see, there's something called calculated risk, right? So it's not that you're gonna go total bonkers and you're gonna like start something that is completely irrelevant. I'm saying within the planning that you do, focus less on planning and more on execution.
So this is one more thing. Focus less on planning and more on execution.
So
And
I'll tell you one
continuing
more
with
thing.
the,
See, initially, we spoke about building fans, right? If you have fans
yeah,
and if you do something wrong, they will come back to you, give you constructive feedback, and they will help you, better calibrate your product.
yeah. Like okay, then moving with moving with the previous list of questions, I would like to ask like the way you said you have taken the real life problem, the empathy which you faced, like the problems which you faced in your industry, and you went on with creating solutions. So, but what is your take on innovation? Like, how is innovation important in a startup to create a successful startup? Innovative ideas are obviously important, but how are they important? What is your take?
There can't be anything which is more important than innovation. And I think that should be the core culture of your company. You should be looking at innovating almost every day or multiple times a day. See, change is the only constant, right?
Yeah, definitely. So that was nice, but okay. With the start of the seminar, in the beginning, in the very beginning, you said that your team is what makes it is what makes Yarn Bazaar. So, what are the hurdles you faced while forming the team in the initial stages? As in, what did you focus in your mind that how do you want to like as you scaled also you had to keep on hiring. So, what advice you would like to give the founding teams?
So, see, hiring is always a challenge. So, what I meant earlier about team is every successful founder or a promoter has a vision. But vision translate कौन करता है? वो तो आपके team members ही करते हैं. You can't go out there do everything on your own. So I may have a perception कि बस मेरे को इस तरह का कंपनी चाहिए, इस तरह के प्रैक्टिस चाहिए, ऐसा काम होना चाहिए, कस्टमर के साथ ऐसे डील करना चाहिए. But ultimately frontline employee जो है who's interacting with your users, your buyers, your sellers, your partners, they're the ones who actually build your brand.
Yeah.
Right? So how you manage your team, your resources, that starts from the right talent hiring to building the right culture to managing them well. Everything is a challenge and we are still learning it.
What is one thing that you learned and you would like to share with some people who would like to start?
I think with respect to the Indian landscape and especially textile landscape, see, we all know textile is not a very well professionally managed industry. आज Indian textile landscape में आप देखोगे तो corporates गिन चुन कर है. You can name all of them. It's fairly an unorganized industry. So in that regards, I would say delegation is what's required. We feel कि हर चीज हम खुद ही करें, हर चीज हमारे नजर से गुजरनी चाहिए, micromanagement.
Yeah.
That is always an enemy to growth.
Okay, so micromanagement shouldn't be given importance. Like you should delegate your tasks so that you can focus on the important tasks which require your attention. Okay. The Yan
100%. See,
Bazaar.
I'll tell you what. Everybody knows that Steve Jobs was a visionary. Sorry, you were saying something, Dhruvi?
No, I wasn't. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Okay. So see, everybody knows that Steve Jobs was a visionary, but his real asset was that he could push his team members to actually achieve something that even they could not believe they would be able to do. And once you have that kind of a drive in all your team members now, then you can really scale up really faster.
So you have to, the leader has to be very enthusiastic to inculcate the same enthusiasm among his team members. Okay, this was nice one. Okay, this is another
100%.
important, one more important question I'm coming up with is, Yarn Bazaar's business model is based on completely digital platform like websites, apps, which enable sellers and buyers to do transactions, right? So how crucial do you think is digitalization for small businesses? And would you agree that business having digital footprint has an edge over the competitors who don't have it? So like, how do you think digitalization is important for small businesses? Your entire startup was.
See, of course, it's very important because for any, I think there's some connection issue. Probably there's a lag.
Yeah, that's what I thought. There's a lag. I'm sorry.
I'm audible now.
Yeah, you're audible. Perfect.
Okay. Uh, Sorry, where were we?
Like digitalization of the businesses and how it is
Right,
important.
right. So see, for any business, it's all about reach. The higher your reach, the probability of you doing better work is always on the higher side. Now, what digitalization allows you is reach. Now, without having to physically go meet every buyer or every supplier, there's always a limitation to that. What social media or platforms like LinkedIn have allowed us to do is connect with people who are not in your physical territory. Look at Amazon for that matter. Now, because of Amazon, a supplier who's not even from that industry can stock and sell anywhere in India, whether it's the remotest places or the metro cities. And the best part about digital platforms is that you can conduct your business in a lean way. मतलब कैसा है कि आप अगर suppose कोई you're reselling, for example, let's say footballs on Amazon. Now all you have to care about is procurement and your presence on Amazon. You don't have to worry about payments. You don't have to worry about logistics. You don't have to worry about shipping, COD, because the platform takes care of all these things. So one of the first questions you had asked me, how are we different than a traditional player, is we feel that it is our obligation. We take it upon us to ensure कि buyers का काम है fabric manufacture करना. उनके लिए यार्न सोर्सिंग हमारा जिम्मेदारी उनके लिए बहुत इजी बनाना. सिमिलरली यार्न स्पिनर जो है उसका काम है यार्न मैन्युफैक्चर करना. उसके लिए मार्केटिंग है, कलेक्शन है, ऑर्डर्स है, मार्केट इंटेलिजेंस है. We want to do all of that for them.
So this is really how you extend your reach, and without taking care of all those things which we don't need to. There are people who can take care of those things for us. There are organizations that take care. So this is where digitalization is important for us. Okay. This
right.
is
like companies can focus on their core and the rest will take care of.
Okay. So
by the way, Dhrumi, you have a comment from an admirer.
Oh, thank you. But it's kind of sharp. Okay, we can move on to the next question. The Yarn Bazaar. Okay, what are your future plans for the Yarn Bazaar?
So we started with yarn buying and selling, which is fairly going fine. Now slowly we're venturing into trade finance also. Probably after that we'll get into ERP or CRM. The idea is to, like I initially said, a one-stop yarn solution. So the vision is to create a holistic marketplace, and we're just slowly building modules one by one.
Okay, so sir, would you like to share some of the awards or awards that your startup has earned for your business? You would be really inspired by that.
So see, we are a very young company. Like I said, just started a year and a half back. Definitely, we've been extremely blessed, I would say, in getting a few recognition. But I wouldn't want to talk about them because see, you have to focus on your business and building it. You shouldn't get carried away by the recognition or by the overwhelming response that you get in the market.
Okay, so you said your business is just 1.5 year old. So and that was the exact period when our lockdown was there. So how did the lockdown affect?
So it's a very interesting story. I remember when lockdown happened, both me and my other co-founder Vishal, we sat and we were like, "कि यार अब तो बहुत problem हो जाएगा," because our business model is completely focused on advance payments. And the first thing that comes to your mind after lockdown is कि there's gonna be a severe cash crunch in the market. Manufacturing segment है पूरा, we're completely dependent on manufacturing units. They were completely shut, so our business will get completely shut. But what happened is immediately we realized, let's not worry about this. Let's just continue doing what we do. So we started focusing on creating a lot of content. So you guys can check us out on our YouTube handle. We did a lot of podcasts. We did master classes. We did AMAs. We did roundtables. So we got a lot of industry leaders. Roundtables was a format where we got everybody from spinning to garmenting on one single platform on a table, and we were discussing, how the future looks like. And what it did for us is, as soon as the lockdown, as soon as the industry started or restarted, resumed, they had a very positive image about us. So as soon as the business restarted, we were the ones who benefited the most out of it.
Oh, so this is the nicest thing. Like even during the lockdown, you thought of other measures where you can impact, and you had already built your reputation till then, until the unlock begin.
See, the show must go on. यान नहीं बिक रहा है, ठीक है, और क्या कर सकते हैं? तो कुछ और करते हैं.
That is amazing, and this is one of the best lessons which I have learned today. There's so many lessons. I would like to summarize all of them. So first, you said team. The team is very important. Delegation of tasks where you can is important. Digitalization helps us to increase our reach. Also, bootstrap, like when your revenue fund you have a revenue mindset, bootstrap startups to work really nice. Then scaling up your startup is based on creating the fans and not the number of customers, which will eventually fade away. Like Apple, who have long-term customers. So this is creating fans. Otherwise, sir, what are the final words of wisdom that you would like to share with the budding startups?
See, whatever you do now, just don't do it for the sake of doing it. Because what happens is, any business and especially entrepreneurship journey, it's extremely challenging. Like there are so many uncertainties that you cannot foresee. And unless you're extremely driven towards it, I think it's extremely difficult that you would survive. And you have to have an extremely you have to be thick skinned. Like for example, when I had this concept and I started meeting a lot of people in the industry, buyers and suppliers, and everybody would put you down usually saying कि यार ये ऐसा नहीं चलेगा, हमको 60 दिन में 90 दिन के उधार में माल बिकता, हम एडवांस में क्यों खरीदेंगे. और suppliers में say कि यार I'm in the industry since 30 years, since 50 years, since 20 years, I've not seen any buyer who's interested in paying advance. माल खराब हुआ तो क्या हुआ? People will raise a lot of questions at you, but unless you are extremely driven and passionate now, you cannot go further.
So you always have to be like, there are always challenges. Like accepting a change is difficult as always. So you have to be thick skinned and go on with what you are doing.
See, it's like shooting in the dark. So for example, let's say if I were to ask you कि you can rent a room in your house to like a total random stranger. usually people are not comfortable with that thought process कि वो stranger कौन है क्या रहेगा, it's something that we cannot digest. But
Hmm.
we have a company called Airbnb who's very, very successfully doing it.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship journey is full of unknowns. And if you're sure ki boss, what I'm thinking has some merit, just go out there, make sure that you're extremely driven, you don't give up, it will happen automatically. Like Yan Bazaar ko chalu hue में 1.5 साल हुआ रहेगा, but the idea was, the conceptualization stage was at least 2.5 years.
Oh, so like right when you are studying in the Warwick University, then you are already conceptualizing the idea, or when you came after your studies, postgrad?
No, it was much later. No, it was much later. See, I came back in 2013, joined my family business, and the idea conceptualization started around end of 2015. So after 2 years, but then we started in 2019.
Okay.
Right, so it was a very long time. And if you were to ask me what was one thing that we would have done differently, is we would have started way earlier.
So like you said, bas chalu kar do. Don't waste too much
Haan.
time in your ideation phase. Okay. So sir, we would like to take an interactive session now. People here would like to ask you some questions. And
Sure.
I would request the audience, if they would want to speak, they can raise their hands. Unfortunately, there's not an option here, but okay, they can unmute and speak one by one if you would like. As I put your questions in the chat and I will read them out. So there are
Sure.
two questions. I'll read it.
Sure.
Samyak is asking, sir, can you share your bad experiences which helped you to focus on the problem that industry faced?
Life is full of bad experiences, yeah. So there were many, but see, I'll give you one reference, which is, I think, for most viewers or people who are related to the industry would be able to understand this. What happens is कि weaving is a combination of ARP and weft. अब क्या होता है कि आप जो अपना purchase planning करते हो, so you have certain stock. Now stock keeping also, again, we all know it's an unorganized industry, so everything is manually maintained. Now usually what we used to encounter is कि master जो है factory वाला, वो बोलता था कि boss इतना यान available है अपने पास, ready stock है, so we can issue the program and सीधा beam लग जाएगा. So warping होके beam आ जाता था, but weft के लिए फिर पता चलता 2 किलो कम पड़ रहा है, 4 किलो कम पड़ रहा है, because you never have the exact count. And then arranging that is always a challenge. And क्या होता था ना, when industry practice कैसा है, when you speak to your suppliers, they will give you false commitments. Not always, but it happens. There's a problem of overselling in the market कि अगर मैं 10 दिन बोल दूंगा तो शायद ऑर्डर नहीं आएगा, तो 2 दिन बोल के बेच देते हैं माल, फिर बाद में फॉलो अप करते रहो. And this 8 days or 7 days delay in lead time would always affect your production. It affects your production, it affects your efficiency, then your profitability goes down. आपका जो bottom line है उसको hamper करता है. So that day, one of the first thing or one of the things we really inculcate in our team is, whatever it is, if there's a delay, whatever is happening, be very upfront about it to the customers. Make sure they're informed कि was delay होने वाला है, so that they are prepared. Either make an alternate arrangement or make sure that they are aware about it so they can make an alternate arrangement.
So this is what Yarn Bazaar tries to eliminate through apps and webs that you have to.
So initially we used to feel that our prices are very good, that's why people buy from us. But now we've realized that in addition to the prices, it's actually the service, the quality of service that they get from us. So I think confidently say that if you're offering a price that the viewer is getting from any other source, they would still prefer buying from us because of the quality of service they get.
Quality. That is also an important factor in any business.
Absolutely.
So there's the next question. How do you persuade your clients to go with your product when you are new to the market? As in, how do you get the initial push?
So now it's fairly easy because we built some credibility, we have some track record, so we can speak numbers, and then it's easier for them to understand कि यार इतना quantum in लोग अगर कर रहे हैं तो कुछ तो ढंग का होगा. Initially, again, like I said, 0 to 1 is always challenging. Getting the first transaction done, getting the first customer, or getting the first entering the a new weaving center for the first time. But once you've travel from 0 to 1, then it's fairly easy. So right now we are at a stage where it's not as difficult for us to acquire a buyer or a supplier.
Yes. So there's one more question. I guess this might not be related. He's asking, how did you manage to get investors initially? Because the Yarn Bazaar was not venture funded, so they didn't have investors. But sir, do you have any tips on getting investors?
I think an investor mindset is you have to have the right team in place. I think team is extremely important. Even if it's a solo founder, then your track record and why. I think the question why is very important. So probably as important as a team is a question why. Why exactly are you doing this? Why somebody would prefer your service or your product over others. So if you can really if you can manage to tell your story very well, then I think that's something that will get you that meeting.
So telling the story. So until there are questions in the chat, so what is your take on future of textile? As in, textile is under agro, and that's a extremely important sector in India, where GDP it contributes to GDP much. So what's your take on the future of textile industry?
I think for Indian textiles, sky is the limit. See, we are a developing economy. There's a lot of push in the industry also. Technologically, people are very savvy now. And technology, I don't mean like online platforms or apps. It could be your spinning machines or your weaving machines or printing. Nowadays, you see a lot of play with printing. Yeah. We've seen a lot of inclination from weavers towards sustainable fibers. At the Yarn Bazaar, we've sold yarn made out of milk, yarn made out of soya bean, yarn made out of bamboo, yarn made out of elephant poop. So lot of things. So textiles in India specifically, I think, like I said, sky's the limit. We've just got started. So next 10 years or so, you'll see a lot of development happening.
So there's one more question in the chat. Siddhant is again asking, can you suggest some books on entrepreneurship and startups?
There are many. There are so many books. You can refer to Lean Startup. 0 to 1 is one of my favorites. I prefer reading a lot of biographies because it gives you a very different inspiration. Mindset ko lekar Sapiens is one book which is extremely good. Refer to that. It will change the way you look at things.
Sir, I'm sorry. Could you please repeat once again?
So refer to books, or if you want, I'll send you a list of books which are like very good. You can circulate it amongst the everyone who's present here in case you have the database. Otherwise, I'll just type a few here on the chat, and people can refer to it. Just give me a moment. I'm just typing as we speak.
Thank you, sir. That would be really useful for everyone.
Yes.
Okay, so there's so many questions. What are your biggest mistakes made by your startup and as entrepreneurs, and how much is supply chain management important in a startup according to you?
See, supply chain तो I think सब में जरूरी है, because the moment you sell something, so order का एक journey होता है, this pre-order, order and post-order. Transaction हो गया मतलब खाली books में एक entry हुआ है कि और काम हो गया. But to transfer those goods from your locality or your location to the buyer is always a supply chain process, right? So that is extremely important. One thing that we do at the Yarn Bazaar is we assure our buyers, boss, we take the onus of transport. So we've made a very good pool of transporters. We have a very good database. If we were to transport, say, yarn from Coimbatore to HL Karanji, we know who's the transporter will give you the best price. We know who's the transporter will give you the best service. So if the buyer wants price, we know whom to contact. If the buyer wants service, कि 3 दिन में माल पहुंचना चाहिए, तो we know whom to contact.
Okay, that was also helpful. There's one more interesting question. As you said that in 10 years, textile industry is going to have a boom. So then Samyak is asking, then why is textile not referred by many engineers or preferred?
वो आप बताओ यार, आप लोग VJTI वाले हो.
Why so? The textile branch usually people don't prefer by choice.
No, it's not that. See, personally, if I were to speak about the Yarn Bazaar, we've interviewed a lot of people from VJTI, DKT, and other textile institutes. Our VP marketing, Yash, is an ex VJTI.
Yeah, I on LinkedIn.
So we've had a couple of people from VJTI. Obviously, the team is very small now, but we're looking at doubling the team in the next 1 month. So we're always in a hiring spree.
So how can I?
And most of the people I have interviewed from VJTI, they had no textiles background. They had no family business in textiles. They had, they just went to VJTI because they were inclined towards, a career in textiles.
So how does a textile engineer contribute to textile industry like with Yarn Bazaar in association with Yarn Bazaar?
Send us your resume. We are always hiring.
Okay. So Yash is asking, did you ever feel like you had a few shortcomings? And if any, what were they? How did you overcome them in the initial stages of your startup?
See, it's a continuous learning process. So, galti to roz hi karni hai, but you just have to make sure that you learn from it and don't repeat it again. And not just you, your team members, your partners, your buyers or your suppliers will also, make mistakes. So it's always a continuous learning process. We made a lot of mistakes. Like one of the mistakes that I have said I wish I wouldn't have done is I should have started earlier. I spent a lot of time in that, the what we call a boardroom or a drawing room, imagining कि कैसे क्या होगा, क्या modules होंगे, किस तरह से process रहेगा. But once you get started, doors automatically open for you. Like I'll give you a very recent example. We made a trip to HL Karanji, Kolhapur, Maharashtra last week. And one of our buyers told us, ki, sir, let's do one thing. You guys should start a portfolio management service, PMS. We'll commit X funds to you. The Yarn Bazaar should basically take care of buying and selling on our behalf. And we, this is a passive income for us. Now, we had never imagined कि Yarn Bazaar में ऐसा PMS करके भी कुछ हो सकता है, right?
So you can always overcome, you can always come across opportunities at every point. So Abhay is asking, what would you comment on intellectual property rights? Should we really care about them?
Nahi yaar. I don't know if you should take my advice on it, but we don't focus on such things. If your product and service is good, if it's protected, not protected, wouldn't matter.
We had this, like they teach us so much about this. We had this in last semester, and they teach us about intellectual property rights, this, that, so much.
See, you should know everything. स्कूल का या कॉलेज का काम ही है अपने को सब चीज के लिए प्रिपेयर करना, बट अल्टीमेटली करना क्या है वो दैट इज ओनली यू कैन डिसाइड. योर टीचर कांट टेल यू कि यार आप बिजनेस में ना 30 दिन के उधार में नहीं 60 दिन के उधार में बेचो.
हाँ वो तो डेफिनेटली हमें ही करना है.
What you should focus on is stay ahead of the game. Always, even if you're a market leader, not just focus on being ahead.
Definitely. So how can AI ML contribute to this field? Is it the next big thing we are expecting and experiencing?
See, technology is very fast changing, right? So whether it is AI ML, whether it is blockchain, whether it is IoT, I think everything has application everywhere. आज टेक्सटाइल में अगर अपने कॉटन फार्मिंग की बात करें, so already there are companies working on in the cotton farming segment with processes like blockchain also and IoT also. So I think it's just a matter of time. You in the next 3 years or so, we'll see a lot of companies doing, playing a lot with technology in textiles.
Siddhant is asking, how do you motivate the employees to work for you? I think you said employees should have same mindset as your mindset for progress and taking the company to the same. They should have same goals. So how do you motivate your employees?
So number one, we always feel that it's our duty to ensure that every employee is learning and growing with us, both personally as well as professionally. Because if personally he's growing, then it will have some impact on his professional life also. So I think that's extremely important. Or you have to make sure that everyone's aligned to your vision. Then you don't have to push them so much. They will automatically, do the right work. Be very, I think, one thing we've seen in terms of organization structure, a difference between a traditional company and a startup is startup structures are usually leaner. So your employee shouldn't feel ki an information, nothing should pass 3 or 4 hands. They should be able to reach out to you. They should be able to, have a very friendly, fair discussion with you. So small things, there's so many things that matter.
So personal connection, sort of.
If we have time, then I can give you a very wonderful example. There's a book called Moment of Truth. So in that book, basically the book is all about case studies. So you'll come across a lot of case studies. There's one case study which I very clearly remember. There's like a US. What they do is every new hiring they have only on Fridays. They want to ensure कि employee का first day in the company है ना weekend के पहले होना चाहिए. The moment the employee walks into the company, they'll give them a lot of freebies that the employee can distribute amongst the current employees. So immediately he builds a connection with all the other peers. And then what they would do is they will tell that employee कि boss tonight on that Friday night he or she can go out either with their other half, with their parents, friends, whoever they like to, and the company sponsors this dinner. So now imagine an employee who gets this kind of an experience. शाम को अपने friends या अपने family के साथ रहने के बैठा है. The first thing they would discuss about यार company बहुत अच्छी है. कितना easy हो गया onboarding. So it builds a very positive attitude towards the company.
So this is what is followed by big companies like Microsoft and all. This is what it is admired for. Like when we sit for placements, we also look what service and how do they care for their employee.
Right.
This is important thing. Okay. The other question is, do you face problems from political people or political parties as we have brick and mortar business? What is this? If yes, how do you manage them?
No, there's nothing as such.
Okay. So then Anna's next question is, if we achieve recycling of clothes, then how will your industry survive in such scenario? Like recycling means no need of new yarn.
I don't think it would affect as much. I think everything can coexist. Like for example, if I talk about the yarn bazaar, a lot of people in the industry felt that we will disintermediate people. मतलब कि traders brokers का business कम हो जाएगा. Whereas 35% or more of our business actually with resellers and traders. आज Amazon है तो ऐसा नहीं कि किराने की दुकान नहीं है या डीमार्ट नहीं है या टेस्को नहीं है. Everything coexist. So recycling क्या है कि as we move now, as we progress, there's a lot of requirement for sustainability. कितना तो scrap collect कर सकते हैं. So that is the need of the that has to happen, and the earlier it happens, the better it is for the entire global economy. But I think business के लिए हमेशा नए opportunities आते रहेंगे. So with every challenge, there's an opportunity.
Very true. Every cloud has a silver lining. So there's another question. How does the prices of your goods are affected by fluctuations in cotton prices and also the climate changes?
See, a lot of variables are there. In fact, we have a team who's mapping all the variables that affect yarn prices or so. But the single biggest contributor to any price is demand and supply. Basic economics, डिमांड और सप्लाई को प्राइस जितना इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है वो कोई और वेरिएबल इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं कर सकता है.
Okay, so I guess we are done with the questions. A few questions as in how you choose your team members, we have already covered that. So I don't think we need to repeat. Otherwise, what are your future plans? This is also covered. So the question, so please share your experience faced by you from big competitors in this market.
Don't look at them as competitors. Look. See, there's a difference between competition and co-optation. So just partner with them and work with them. Like I said, 35% plus business of the Yarn Bazaar is actually with resellers. So traders on our platform act as buyers also and as sellers also.
Okay. So don't look at your competitors, collaborate and coexist. Almost we are done. For the other questions, I know that we are running short of time. I understand people might be having more questions. They would be eager to learn more and more and interact with sir. But unfortunately, due to paucity of time, we would be parking the remaining questions for future. This was a wonderful session, sir. We are truly honored by your presence. Thank you so much for being with us and enlightening us with your valuable insights. Thank you, sir.
No, pleasure's mine. Thank you for having me here.
So we'll see you goodbye, and I thank everyone who are here. We appreciate you being here, and we will see you next time. Thanks again for joining today.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye, sir.